Coming up, a special weekend edition of Breakfast with Friends. Raymond Arroyo is talking to the folks in Shreveport, Louisiana, and he has a special guest, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
This week, the House is set to vote to authorize a formal impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. And Republicans are confident they have the votes to approve it.
So let's head back down to Shreveport, Louisiana, where Raymond Arroyo is joined with House Speaker Mike Johnson. Good morning, Raymond.
Good morning to you all. And we want to thank our Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, for showing up and for you all welcoming us. Speaker, let's pick up on what we were just hearing from Pete. This inquiry is underway. They're voting this week to have an inquiry. Some of the folks in this diner say there shouldn't be an inquiry of Joe Biden. There should be an impeachment proceeding. You would say what?
Well, I would say we're the rule of law team, and we have to be very deliberate and careful about that. I've said several times, and it's true, that next to the declaration of war, I think impeachment is probably the heaviest power that the Congress has, the House specifically, under the Constitution. So we have to be very methodical and careful and follow the facts. Where they lead the impeachment inquiry is the next necessary step, because the White House is now stonewalling our investigation.
Well, and look, I know they're threatening Hunter Biden with contempt. He doesn't want to even come forward and testify in a closed-door hearing. Here's my question. You have a difficult job to get anything done. George Santos was expelled. Kevin McCarthy is now leaving the House. You are down to a one-seat majority. How do you do anything with a one-seat majority?
Well, we got to keep the team together, and I think everybody understands the importance of the job that we have to do. We have to demonstrate that we can govern well, and when we do that, I think we'll expand this majority, and we'll be in a much better situation in the next round, for sure.
There was a report in your Foreign Relations Committee, the House Foreign Relations Committee, that the Biden administration is not doing enough to follow the letter of the law, and they are selling intelligence and advanced weapon systems, AI technology, to China. What will you all do to hold the administration accountable?
We're working through all of our committees of jurisdiction to do exactly that. I mean, China is a serious threat to us. They're trying to become a peer-to-peer adversary to us, and we've not had one of those since World War II. So our Select Committee on China has done some extraordinary work. They have a long menu of items and things that we need to handle, and we're going to be doing that in the year ahead.
This can't be easy for you. I mean, I know this is a job you welcomed. You felt a particular calling to this. You yourself said God calls us to authority. How do you feel about this now, having sat in the chair for a little bit?
It's been like drinking from Niagara Falls for the last 6 weeks, but it's a good thing. It's not a job I ever aspired to. I was entrusted by my colleagues to do it, and I take the responsibility very seriously. These are perilous times for the country. We're at a crossroads. We all know that. And this next election cycle is going to be for all the marbles. We have to prepare for it and demonstrate that we can do the job.
There was some leaked audio of you spoke to some Christian lawmakers in Washington this past week. The audio leaked, and you said, the Lord has very clearly called me to prepared me to become another Moses, who is leading the nation through a Red Sea moment.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Well, they took me out of context. I said I was trying to prepare to be Aaron to Moses.
Oh,
but
okay.
when it went through the whole rounds, it wound up at us. Look, we're all called to this. Every one of us. Some are lawmakers. Some are just American citizens. We're all pulling together, and we have to get through this moment. If you look at the roiling sea, it looks pretty challenging. But I believe that God's not done with America yet. I think he's given us another chance, and we have a role to play in all that.
What about this Pfizer? You just passed the Pfizer reauthorization. Is that wise, given how Pfizer has been used against citizens to surveil them?
Listen, I came off the House Judiciary Committee deeply concerned about how it had been abused to spy on Americans, and that's why the House Intelligence Committee and Judiciary Committees work together so closely to reform it. So we have about 45 different reforms to improve that. We haven't reauthorized it yet.
But it's in the works.
But we can't let it go dark. While we're working towards this compromise to fix it, it's a critically important national security tool. It's what prevents us from having another 9/11 on our shores. So we've got to take care of the business.
Before we run out of time, being in your hometown, in your district, it's not exactly your hometown. That would be Bossier City.
Well, my hometown's Shreveport. I live on the other side of the river now.
Bossier. Okay. Tell me about how your faith was shaped by your father, who was a firefighter. And you said that really was instrumental in bringing you to faith.
Yeah, when I was 12 years old in 1984, he was assistant chief of the fire department here, and he was critically burned and permanently disabled in the line of duty. And so that experience was formative to us. It changed the trajectory of my life. My biggest aspiration in life was to be the chief of the Shreveport Fire Department, but they wanted us to go another path after that. And so here we are. But look, this is one of the greatest states in America. I think it's the greatest state. I think it's one of the greatest communities in America. They believe in faith, family, freedom, the American values that we all cherish.
And football. Your LSU.
And football.
Your LSU
We brought the Heisman home last night.
That's right. The Heisman.
Jaden Daniels.
That's right. So I couldn't not mention that, being a Louisiana boy.
Amen.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for being with us. And all the folks at Strong's, such a warm welcome. Back to you guys. Merry Christmas and Merry Christmas to you. And a happy Advent.
Thank you.
you.
Great job.
Raymond Arroyo, well done.